In Buddhism, there is a concept called non-abiding generosity, or mujusang boshi in Korean, which means giving without attachment, without expecting anything in return, not even recognition or reward. It may sound like something only enlightened masters can do, but in reality, ordinary people can also practice this. And through sincere effort, they can receive immense blessings and happiness. The Diamond Sutra, one of the most important Buddhist scriptures, teaches that enlightenment begins not with striving, but with realizing that we are already Buddha in nature. Instead of thinking, I am a lowly being trying to become enlightened, we should recognize that our original mind is pure, and from that place, engage in practice. If we see ourselves as inferior or unworthy, we trap ourselves and slow our spiritual progress. Once we awaken to this truth, the next step is to maintain that realization without becoming arrogant or boastful. This is where the concept of non-abiding comes in. Even after a spiritual breakthrough, if we cling to pride or the desire to show off, we lose the very awakening we had gained. Maintaining clarity requires humility, stillness, and letting go of attachment to identity, success, or status. There's a story of a practitioner who, after deep study and chanting of the Diamond Sutra, felt light as air. His body and mind became so free that he had a sensation of flying. But when he became proud and tried to show off his spiritual ability, he lost everything and fell into deep suffering. The lesson is clear enlightenment must be protected with humility and sincerity, otherwise it fades. Karma, or the law of cause and effect, is not just about physical actions, it includes our mental and emotional reactions too. Anger, pride, even excessive excitement, these are also forms of karma. So even seemingly good deeds can be tainted if they are driven by ego, desire, or expectation. To truly practice Mujusang Boshi, we must give without mental clinging. For example, if a mother sells her hair to pay her sons, tuition not out of guilt or obligation, but purely from love and selflessness, this is close to non-abiding generosity. But if the act is driven by emotional attachment, debt, or expectation, it still remains within the realm of karma. The greatest form of giving is done to honor the Buddha, not to gain anything for oneself. And when someone performs such an act with a pure heart, the effects can be astonishing. There are cases where people who served others purely for the sake of goodness receive tenfold, or even hundredfold rewards in return, not because they asked for it, but because sincere action has its own natural return. Even when life feels unfair, when we are rejected by employers, overlooked by others, or mistreated in relationships, the Buddhist perspective encourages us to look inward and say, this hardship may be the result of past actions I don't remember. Instead of blaming others, we repent, reflect, and quietly continue our practice. In time, things shift, promotions come, new doors open. But it only happens when we've cleared the deep, subconscious belief that we are guilty or unworthy, trying to escape a difficult job or relationship without resolving the inner karma only leads to repeating the same problem elsewhere. True freedom comes when we completely dissolve the belief that we deserve to suffer. And that takes patience, steady. Practice reading the sutras, contemplating deeply, and not running away. There's a powerful story of a person who, during the time of the historical Buddha, offered to paint the temple, not for money, but out of sheer reverence. That person later went on to receive countless blessings, and his descendants thrived for generations. Such stories are not just myth, they show how sincere, unattached generosity can move the universe. In the end, even if we've made mistakes in the past, even terrible ones, the real issue is not whether we were guilty, but whether we keep labeling ourselves as such. When we say I am a sinner, we invite punishment. When we say I am blessed, we invite joy. These names we give to ourselves and our experiences have enormous power. That's why, in Buddhism, rather than identifying as someone's spouse, parent, or employee, we are encouraged to identify as a servant of the Buddha. Holding that identity in our hearts brings deep peace, clarity, and direction. And it opens the door to limitless blessings, not just for this life, but for lives to come.